Deep within the emerald heart of South America lies a realm where sunlight struggles to pierce the dense canopy, where the air is thick with the scent of damp earth and the chorus of unseen creatures. This is the Amazon, a labyrinth of rivers, swamps, and ancient rainforests that has remained, for the most part, untamed by human hands. But hidden beneath the murky waters and tangled roots is a creature whose very name sends shivers down the spine: the anaconda. The word anaconda has become synonymous with power, fear, and primal danger. But the origin of this name is as mysterious as the animal itself, with multiple theories stretching across continents and cultures. One popular belief traces the term back to Sri Lanka, where in the Sinhalese language, the phrase henakundaya, meaning thundersnake, was used to describe a large, powerful serpent. Over centuries of trade and exploration, the word is thought to have been adapted by European explorers, morphing into anaconda as it entered Western tongues. Another theory points to the Tamil phrase anacondran, which translates as elephant killer, though it's uncertain whether this description was ever meant to refer to the same species we know today. The imagery fits perfectly: a serpent of such size and strength that even an animal as massive as an elephant could be brought down in its crushing coils. To the Spanish conquistadors who ventured into South America in the 16th century, the awe-inspiring reptile became known as matacabra or matabui, goat killer or ox killer, names that hinted at its appetite for livestock and its dominance over the creatures of the floodplains. These varied origins all point to a universal truth. Long before science documented the anaconda, people across the world recognized it as something extraordinary. It was never just a snake. It was the snake and animal that transcended ordinary boundaries, inspiring stories, fears, and myths wherever its legend traveled. But myths alone cannot explain the anaconda's fearsome reputation. The truth is that even in the modern age, with cameras, measuring tapes, and scientific journals, the anaconda retains an air of mystery. Indigenous Amazonian tribes have long passed down tales of colossal serpents, some stretching over 15 meters in length, thick as oil drums, weighing more than a ton. To them, the anaconda was more than a predator. It was a guardian spirit of the waterways, a force to be respected and feared. Hunters spoke in hushed tones of encounters with these behemoths, their immense bodies sliding silently through the shallows, their eyes just breaking the surface like twin beads of black glass. Such stories didn't stay confined to the jungle. By the early 20th century, explorers from Europe began venturing deep into the Amazon, returning with accounts that blurred the line between fact and fable. In 1935, two British adventurers claimed to have seen with their own eyes an anaconda over 50 meters long, coiled like a living island in the river. Scientists dismissed the claim as impossible, but the tale spread quickly, feeding into the public's fascination with the so-called giant snake of the Amazon. Even today, biologists tread carefully when discussing the anaconda's maximum size. Verified measurements placed the largest individuals at around 9 meters 30 feet and weighing up to 250 kilograms, 550 pounds. But eyewitness reports, often from remote areas where scientific verification is nearly impossible, suggest that even larger specimens might exist. The Amazon is vast, and its swamps and rivers can easily conceal creatures that might never be seen by human eyes. What is undeniable is that the name anaconda has become a cultural icon. In Hollywood, it's been transformed into a symbol of unstoppable danger, a stealthy killer that stalks from beneath the water, capable of swallowing a human whole. In folklore, it's a shape-shifting spirit, a protector of sacred places, or a warning against disrespecting nature. And in the scientific community, it remains one of the most impressive examples of reptilian power, a living relic of a time when giant serpents ruled the earth. The fear the name invokes is not purely superstition. There is something ancient and deeply ingrained in the human psyche about snakes, perhaps a remnant of our evolutionary past, when spotting the flicker of scales in the grass could mean the difference between life and death. The anaconda, with its massive, muscular body and silent, stealthy movements, embodies every primal fear we've ever had about serpents, and magnifies it 100-fold. As we step into the world of the anaconda, it's important to understand that its name is more than just a label. It's a story, one woven from the threads of language, legend, and human imagination, carried across oceans and jungles. It's the echo of countless encounters between people and a creature that has always seemed too big, too strong and too cunning to belong entirely to our world. In the next chapter, we will leave behind the etymology and step into the real swamps of the Amazon, where the true giant of the rainforest waits, its name a whisper on the wind, its presence felt long before it is seen. The Amazon River is a living, breathing artery that pulses through the heart of South America. Its waters twist and wind through 9 countries, forming a network of swamps, tributaries, and flooded forests so vast that entire ecosystems exist within them, untouched for centuries. This is the stage upon which the anaconda reigns supreme, a predator unmatched in size, strength, and mastery of its environment. When most people imagine a snake, they picture a slender body, quick and agile, slithering through grass or over rocks. The anaconda, however, rewrites that image entirely. It is not built for speed on land, but for dominance in the water. Its body is thick and muscular, often compared to the trunk of a tree in both girth and raw strength. To see one up close is to confront the reality of nature's engineering. Every scale, every ripple of muscle, a testament to millions of years of evolution. Legends versus reality for centuries. Tales of monstrous anacondas have circulated among explorers, scientists, and local communities. Indigenous Amazonian hunters describe encountering snakes over 15 meters long, nearly 50 feet, thick enough that it would take several men with outstretched arms to encircle their bodies. To them, these giants are not mythical beasts, but very real inhabitants of the swamps and rivers, seen rarely, but remembered forever. In 1935, a pair of British adventurers claimed to have encountered an anaconda of unimaginable proportions, 50 meters, 164 feet, in length. According to their account, the creature was basking partially submerged in a wide bend of the river, its massive coils spread like a living island. While such claims are dismissed by modern herpetologists as physically implausible, the biological limits of snakes make such sizes highly improbable. They have nonetheless cemented the anaconda's place in the pantheon of nature as most exaggerated legends. Verified scientific records, however, tell a more conservative but still awe-inspiring story. The largest confirmed green anaconda, Unex marinus, measured over 9 meters 30 feet and weighed around 250 kilograms, 550 pounds. These figures alone make it one of the heaviest and most powerful snakes on Earth, rivaled only by the reticulated python in terms of length. In 2016, Brazilian researchers documented a massive specimen nearly 10 meters long, weighing half a ton, a living titan that moved with the slow, unhurried confidence of an apex predator. Why size matters in the Amazon? The Amazon is not an easy place to survive. Here, every predator is also potential prey, and the balance between hunter and hunted can shift with a single mistake. For the anaconda, sheer size offers both advantages and risks. A larger body allows it to overpower a wider range of prey, from capybaras and deer to caimans, and even the occasional jaguar. It also serves as a deterrent. Few predators are willing to test their strength against such a formidable opponent, but size comes at a cost. The bigger an animal becomes, the more energy it needs, and the harder it is to remain undetected. Large anacondas are often slower and less agile than their younger, smaller counterparts. They rely heavily on their aquatic camouflage, submerging almost completely, with only their nostrils and eyes breaking the surface of the water. Here, in the silence of the swamp, they wait, patient as stone, for an unsuspecting animal to come within striking distance. Built for the water, unlike pythons, which dominate the forests and grasslands of Asia and Africa, the anaconda is uniquely adapted to a semi-aquatic lifestyle. Its olive-green skin, patterned with black blotches, blends seamlessly with the muddy, plant-choked waters of the Amazon. Its nostrils are positioned on the top of its snout, allowing it to breathe while the rest of its body remains invisible beneath the surface. In water, the anaconda moves with surprising grace, its bulk supported by buoyancy, its muscles propelling it forward in slow, silent undulations. On land, however, it is far less formidable. The same massive muscles that make it a powerhouse in the water become a burden when dragging across mud or forest floor. This is why anacondas rarely travel far from their aquatic hunting grounds. In the water, they are the undisputed kings, but on land, they are slow and vulnerable. The psychological impact of a giant, part of the anaconda's legendary status, comes from the fear it inspires in those who share its habitat. For local fishermen and hunters, spotting an anaconda is both a sign of danger and a source of respect. Stories abound of massive snakes surfacing near canoes, their eyes cold and unblinking, before silently slipping back into the depths. Even when no attack occurs, the encounter leaves a mark, a reminder that the swamp belongs first to its oldest residents. The truth about the monster: it's easy to let the myths overshadow the facts, but reality is no less impressive. A 9-meter snake weighing hundreds of kilograms is an apex predator by any definition. Its grip can exert crushing force, stopping the heartbeat of its prey within minutes. Its jaws, lined with backward-facing teeth, can stretch wide enough to engulf an animal larger than a human torso. Once swallowed, the prey is slowly broken down over days by the snake's powerful digestive system. Yet for all its strength, the anaconda is not invincible. In later chapters, we will see that it has natural enemies, predators that can and do kill it. Its size is both its greatest weapon and its greatest liability, a double-edged sword in the survival game of the Amazon. Here, at the dawn of our journey into the life of the anaconda, we see the truth beginning to emerge from behind the myths. The giant of the Amazon is real, but it is not an unstoppable, mindless killer. It is a specialist, a master of its environment, and a creature whose story has been shaped as much by human imagination as by the swamp itself. In the next chapter, we will delve into the 4 distinct species of anaconda, uncovering the unique traits that separate them, and the one species that earns the title of the true giant among giants. When people hear the word anaconda, they often imagine one single monstrous snake, an emerald green titan lurking beneath the surface of a murky Amazon backwater. But in truth, the name refers not to a single species, but to a small family of giant constrictors. The genus Unix. Within this family, there are 4 recognized species, each with its own size, coloration, range, and role in the ecosystem. Together, they form the 4 faces of a predator that has become a living emblem of the South American wilderness. 1. The green anaconda Unex marinus, the true giant, if there is a monarch among serpents. The green anaconda wears the crown. It is the largest and heaviest snake in the world, a muscular colossus capable of reaching lengths of 8 to 9 meters, 26 to 30 feet, and weights of over 250 kilograms, 550 pounds. Exceptional individuals, such as the legendary 10-meter specimen recorded in Brazil, push the limits of what science has confirmed. Its coloration is a camouflage masterpiece. Olive green scales patterned with large irregular black spots along its back and smaller blotches along the sides. This pattern allows the snake to vanish almost completely against the dappled light of riverbanks and swamp shallows. The green anaconda's range extends across much of northern South America, from Venezuela and Colombia through Brazil, Peru, and Bolivia, wherever slow-moving waters offer both cover and abundant prey. Its diet reflects its immense size. Capybaras, caimans, wild pigs, deer, and even the occasional jaguar. In the realm of snakes, the green anaconda is the undisputed heavyweight champion, feared by almost every creature that shares its habitat. 2. The yellow anaconda Unex notaeus, the golden hunter, slightly smaller but no less formidable. The yellow anaconda inhabits the wetlands and rivers of Paraguay, southern Brazil, Bolivia, and northern Argentina. Adults typically reach lengths of 3 to 4.5 meters, 10 to 15 feet. Though some exceed 5 meters, they are noticeably lighter in build than their green cousins, but their striking beauty more than makes up for their lesser size. The yellow anaconda's scales shimmer with shades of gold and ochre, overlaid with bold black or dark brown rosettes. This bright patterning is more than just decoration. It breaks up the snake's outline among reeds, muddy banks, and sunlit shallows, making it an expert ambush predator. Though smaller, the yellow anaconda is still a powerful constrictor, preying on fish, birds, small mammals, and even other reptiles. Its smaller size allows it to navigate narrower waterways and shallower marshes where the bulkier green anaconda would struggle. 3. The dark-spotted anaconda Unex desuense, the shy phantom least, known and most elusive of the anaconda species. The dark-spotted anaconda ranges through northeastern South America, particularly in French Guiana, Suriname, and parts of northern Brazil. Its name comes from the large, dark, irregular spots scattered along its body, set against a pale yellowish-brown background. At an average length of 2.5 to 3.5 meters, 8 to 12 feet, It is significantly smaller than the green or yellow anaconda, and it rarely attracts the same attention from either scientists or locals. This is partly because of its reclusive nature. It prefers remote swamps and flooded grasslands far from human activity. Despite its modest size, the dark-spotted anaconda is an efficient predator. It feeds largely on aquatic animals, fish, amphibians, and water birds, and is more strictly tied to wetland habitats than some of its larger relatives. 4. The Bolivian anaconda Unex biniensis, the newcomer. The most recently recognized member of the genus, the Bolivian anaconda, was only officially described by scientists in 2002. Before that, it was often mistaken for the green anaconda, due to its similar size and coloration. However, genetic studies and closer examination revealed subtle differences in scale patterns and geographic range. Native to Bolivia's Beni region, this species thrives in seasonally flooded savannas and marshes. It grows nearly as large as the green anaconda, with lengths up to 5 to 6 meters, 16 to 20 feet, though documented maximums are still being studied. Little is known about its behavior, but field observations suggest it preys on a similar range of animals, from wading birds to large mammals. Why the green anaconda stands apart. While all 4 species are impressive predators in their own right, only the green anaconda earns the reputation as the true giant snake of the Amazon. Its combination of length, girth, and sheer muscle mass makes it an apex predator capable of tackling prey that would be impossible for its smaller relatives. The yellow anaconda may be more vibrant, the dark-spotted more mysterious, and the Bolivian more rare, but none matched the green anaconda's dominance. A shared design for survival despite their differences in size and distribution. All anacondas share a common body plan honed by millions of years of evolution. Semi-aquatic lifestyle, eyes and nostrils positioned on top of the head, allow them to breathe and see while the rest of the body remains hidden underwater. Constrictor's strength. Instead of venom, they rely on sheer muscle to overpower prey, coiling around it and applying crushing pressure until it can no longer breathe. Ambush hunting strategy. They lie in wait, motionless for hours, before launching a lightning-fast strike. Expandable jaws. Ligaments in their skulls allow the mouth to stretch wide enough to engulf prey far larger than their head. This blueprint has made the anaconda genus one of the most successful groups of large snakes in the world. They are perfectly adapted to the swamp, each species occupying its own niche within the watery labyrinth of South America's wetlands. In the next chapter, we will shift from taxonomy to tactics, exploring how the anaconda, despite its seemingly sluggish movement on land, has become one of the deadliest ambush predators in the animal kingdom. We will follow its silent approach, its explosive strike, and the raw, suffocating power that defines its place at the top of the food chain. The Amazon is a world of noise and motion. The chatter of birds, the splash of fish, the constant hum of insects. Yet in this restless environment, the anaconda has mastered the art of stillness. It is not a predator that chases. It is a predator that waits. It is a living paradox, an animal capable of explosive violence, but one that thrives through patience. The ambush artist. To understand how the anaconda hunts, we must first understand its environment. The rivers and swamps of the Amazon are often opaque, their surfaces blanketed with floating vegetation. Beneath this cover, visibility drops to nearly zero. This works to the snake's advantage. An anaconda will submerge itself completely, leaving only its eyes and nostrils breaking the surface. 2 small bumps that could easily be mistaken for debris. It can remain in this position for hours, its body perfectly still, its heart rate slowed, its muscles relaxed but ready. The snake's tongue flickers occasionally, drawing chemical cues from the water and air. These signals, invisible to us, paint a detailed picture in the anaconda's mind. The size of a nearby capybara, the nervous heartbeat of a wading bird, the restless shifting of a caiman's limbs. The strike. When the moment comes, there is no warning. The snake's body, coiled and hidden beneath the water, unleashes its full force in a single fluid movement. The head lunges forward, jaws agape, while the body erupts from its resting place in a swirl of water and muscle. The strike is not about piercing or wounding. The anaconda's teeth are small, sharp, and backward curving, designed to grip, not to kill. The true weapon is what follows. The constriction. The constriction. Once the anaconda's jaws clamp onto its prey, the rest of its massive body begins to coil. It moves with the inevitability of a tightening rope. Every time the prey exhales, the snake's coils tighten further, preventing the next breath. It is not, as some myths claim, about crushing bones into powder. Death comes more swiftly and efficiently, through suffocation and circulatory collapse. Studies have shown that anacondas and other constrictors can cut off blood flow so quickly that the brain shuts down in minutes. This efficiency is crucial, especially in the water, where a prolonged struggle could draw unwanted attention from other predators. The menu, the green anaconda's size, means its menu is one of the most varied in the reptile world. It will consume fish, turtles, birds, capybaras, peccaries, deer, and caimans. There are even rare accounts of them preying on jaguars, the very cats that sometimes hunt them in return. A mature green anaconda can consume prey weighing up to 75 to 100% of its own body weight. This means that an 80 kilograms, 176 pounds, human is within its theoretical capacity, though confirmed cases of anacondas killing people are exceedingly rare. In truth, humans are not a preferred food source. We are bony, relatively hairless, and unpredictable. The swallow, once the prey is subdued, the snake begins the painstaking process of swallowing it whole. Its jawbones are not fused in the way ours are. Instead, they are connected by stretchy ligaments that allow the mouth to expand several times its resting width. The backward-facing teeth act like hooks, pulling the prey deeper into the throat. Swallowing a large animal can take hours. The snake's windpipe extends forward like a snorkel, allowing it to breathe even as its mouth is filled. This is a dangerous moment for the predator. Immobilized by its own meal, it becomes vulnerable to attack by jaguars, caimans, or even other anacondas. The feast and the fast. A large meal can sustain an anaconda for weeks, even months. Its metabolism slows dramatically, diverting energy toward digestion. In this period, the snake becomes sluggish, often retreating to a secluded spot where it can rest in safety. Digestion is a demanding process. The stomach secretes powerful acids capable of breaking down flesh, bone, and fur. Only the toughest parts, such as hooves or large bones, are regurgitated. In the heat and humidity of the Amazon, decomposition begins quickly, and the snake's body takes full advantage, absorbing every possible nutrient from its prey. Patience as a predator's weapon. Unlike fast-moving hunters that must feed frequently, the anaconda's slow metabolism and infrequent meals give it a unique advantage. It can afford to wait. It does not need to risk frequent hunts, which could expose it to injury. Instead, it can bide its time until an ideal target wanders into range. This patience is perhaps the most underestimated part of the anaconda's arsenal. In the wild, energy conservation is survival, and few creatures embody this principle better than South America's giant constrictor. In the next chapter, we will explore how the anaconda grows and ages, from a hatchling barely longer than a human forearm to a titan capable of reshaping the myths and fears of an entire continent. In the human world, growth has an end point. We reach our adult height, our bones fuse, and our bodies stop expanding. But in the reptile world, the rules are different. For the anaconda, the process of growing never truly stops. From the moment it slips free of its mother's body, it begins a slow, relentless expansion, lengthening, thickening, and adding to its mass year after year, for as long as it lives. A life without growth limits. All reptiles share a biological trait known as indeterminate growth. This means that, unlike mammals, they do not have a fixed adult size. Instead, their bodies continue to add new tissue as they age. In most species, this growth slows significantly once they reach maturity, but it never truly stops. For the anaconda, this has staggering implications. A hatchling born at just 60 to 70 centimeters, about 2 feet, can, in time, grow to lengths exceeding 9 meters 30 feet, and weights of more than 250 kilograms 550 pounds. If it lives long enough, and has access to enough food, it will simply keep getting bigger. Early years, rapid gains. The first years of an anaconda's life are a time of explosive growth. Hatchlings must quickly put on size to avoid becoming prey themselves. Juvenile anacondas are vulnerable to a wide range of predators: caimans, large birds of prey, other snakes, and even fish like piranhas. The faster they grow, the sooner they cross the threshold from prey to predator. In these early years, an anaconda may add over a meter in length annually. This rapid growth is fueled by frequent feeding. Small fish, amphibians, and birds are taken whenever the opportunity arises. Each successful meal is converted into muscle and bone, transforming the snake's slender body into the beginnings of a constrictor powerhouse, slowing down the mature giant. By the time an anaconda reaches adulthood, usually around 4 to 5 years old, the frantic pace of growth begins to slow. Instead of doubling in size in a short span, gains become more gradual. A mature green anaconda might add only a few centimeters in length and a few kilograms in weight each year. But, with an average lifespan of over a decade in the wild, and up to 30 to 35 years in captivity, the cumulative effect can be dramatic. It is in this stage that the true giants emerge. Given the right conditions, abundant prey, safe territory, and absence of major injuries, a female anaconda can grow into a living legend, a serpent that dominates its stretch of river or swamp for years. Why females outgrow males in most animal species? Males tend to be larger, but in the world of anacondas the opposite is true. Female green anacondas can outweigh males by a factor of 4 or more. The reason lies in reproduction. Larger females can produce larger litters, and their greater body mass allows them to store more energy for the taxing process of pregnancy. During the breeding season, males sometimes form mating balls around a single female, with multiple suitors entwining around her in a slow, heaving mass that can last for weeks. In such contests, the female's immense size ensures that she can carry on with minimal strain, conserving her strength for the next generation. The old Titans, occasionally, report surface of truly ancient anacondas, individuals estimated to be over 20 years old in the wild. These snakes often carry the scars of their long lives, healed bite marks from jaguars, deep scratches from caimans, and faded injuries from past hunts. But their size is what sets them apart. Even if the legendary 15-meter specimens are exaggerations, a snake pushing 10 meters in length is still an apex predator of almost mythical proportions. However, this immense size comes at a cost. The bigger an anaconda becomes, the harder it is to remain hidden. Moving its bulk through narrow channels becomes more difficult, and it may be forced to hunt in more open areas, where it is visible to both prey and potential rivals. The role of molting growth in snakes is tied closely to molting, the process of shedding their skin. For young anacondas, molting can occur several times a year, each time allowing for rapid size increases. In older snakes, this process happens less frequently, often just once or twice a year. Each shed reveals fresh, glossy scales beneath, free from parasites and damage. Molting also plays a role in hunting success. A clean, healthy skin ensures better camouflage, allowing the snake to blend seamlessly into its watery surroundings. Captivity versus the wild. In captivity, where food is abundant and threats are few, anacondas can live far longer and grow much larger than their wild counterparts. Some captive specimens have reached sizes that would be extremely rare, perhaps impossible in nature. But captivity can also lead to obesity, a problem for a species adapted to feast and famine cycles in the wild. In the wild, growth is a reflection of survival skill. Each added kilogram represents hunts won, predators evaded, and seasons endured. The largest wild anacondas are survivors of countless trials, and their size is a living record of that history. The endless potential. What makes the anaconda so fascinating is the idea that there is no ceiling to its size, only the limits imposed by nature itself. In theory, if an anaconda could live long enough, remain healthy, and avoid starvation or predation, it could grow to lengths and weights beyond anything currently documented. But the Amazon is a harsh place. Disease, drought, injury, and competition mean that few individuals live to reach their full potential. Those that do become the stuff of legend, whispered about in riverside villages, and remembered for decades. In the next chapter we will turn to the miracle of birth in these giants, exploring how the anaconda reproduces, why it gives birth to live young instead of laying eggs, and how the struggle for survival begins from the very first breath. In the stillness of the Amazon's flooded grasslands, where the water reflects the dense green canopy like a mirror, a drama unfolds far from human eyes. Hidden in the shelter of overhanging roots, or deep within the reeds, a massive female anaconda lies motionless. She has not hunted in weeks. Her body is heavy, her breathing slow. What she carries inside her is one of nature's most extraordinary events, the arrival of the next generation of the Amazon's giant constrictors, a different kind of motherhood. Most people, when asked about snakes, will picture eggs, white, leathery ovals hidden in a nest. And indeed, the majority of the world's snake species reproduce by laying eggs. But the anaconda belongs to a smaller, more specialized group of reptiles that give birth to live young, a trait known as oviviparisy. In oviviparous species, the eggs develop inside the mother's body, rather than being laid externally. The embryos grow within a thin, transparent membrane, nourished by yolk, and in some cases, receiving additional nutrients from the mother through structures similar to a placenta. This adaptation allows the young to develop in a controlled environment, safe from the fluctuating temperatures and dangers that might threaten eggs laid in the open. The season of mating. Anaconda reproduction begins during the rainy season, when the rivers swell and flood the surrounding forest. This abundance of water creates ideal conditions for breeding. Malay anacondas, usually smaller and more numerous than females, become wanderers, following scent trails left by receptive females. When a male locates a female, the encounter often leads to one of the most extraordinary courtship displays in the reptile world, the breeding ball. Sometimes, as many as a dozen males will coil around a single female, their muscular bodies twisting and heaving in the slow, deliberate dance of competition. This living knot can last for weeks, with the males using their bodies to stimulate the female and to dislodge rivals. In this contest, size is not the male's advantage. Endurance is. The female, larger and stronger, retains the ultimate choice. When she mates, it is with the male able to stay with her the longest, demonstrating stamina that may signal genetic fitness. The long wait. Once fertilization occurs, the female's life changes completely. She ceases hunting and spends most of her time basking in the sun to regulate her body temperature for optimal embryo development. Over the next 6 to 7 months, the tiny anacondas inside her grow rapidly, transforming from clusters of cells into miniature versions of their mother. During this time, the female survives entirely on the fat reserves built up from past hunts. For a predator accustomed to long fasts between meals, this is a period of extreme energy conservation. Every movement is measured, every breath deliberate. The moment of birth. When the time comes, there is no nest, no carefully dug hollow. The female positions herself in shallow, calm water or on a muddy bank. Her body ripples with muscular contractions, and one by one, the young emerge, each encased in a delicate, transparent sac that breaks almost immediately upon contact with the world. A healthy newborn anaconda measures between 60 and 80 centimeters to 2 to 0.5 feet in length and is fully independent from the moment it emerges. There is no parental care. The mother's role ends at birth. Her body, drained from the long fast and the energy spent in reproduction, must now recover. 40 chances in a typical litter. A female may give birth to 20 to 40 young, though exceptionally large females can produce over 80. But nature is not gentle. Only a fraction will survive to adulthood. Many will fall prey within their first weeks to predators such as birds of prey, caimans, or even larger fish. Others will be lost to starvation or injury. It is a numbers game, and in the Amazon's unforgiving cycle of life and death, sheer quantity is the mother's only strategy to ensure that some of her offspring will endure. A hungry start within hours of birth, the young snakes are ready to hunt. They begin small, fish, frogs, and insects, relying on instinct to find, strike, and constrict their prey. Every successful meal fuels their rapid growth, increasing their chances of escaping the prey category and moving into the ranks of predators. The young are perfectly equipped for their new life. Sharp, recurved teeth for gripping slippery prey, the same camouflaged scales as their mother, and the ability to swim with grace and speed. But skill alone is not enough. Luck will determine whether a hatchling becomes a future giant or just another meal in the swamp. The mother's recovery after birth. The female faces a critical period, weeks of fasting, followed by the massive energy expenditure of reproduction. Leave her weakened. She must hunt soon to replenish her reserves. Occasionally, observers have noted females consuming the egg membranes left behind or even stillborn young, a grim but practical act, reclaiming precious nutrients for survival. Once she resumes hunting, the female returns to her solitary existence, her reproductive cycle complete until the next rainy season. In the life of an anaconda, successful reproduction is an occasional event, not an annual guarantee. Large females may breed only once every 2 to 3 years, depending on their condition. A legacy in the water. Each surviving juvenile that slithers away into the water carries the potential to one day rule its own stretch of riverbank. For now, they are fragile and numerous, each a glinting scale in the endless tapestry of Amazon life. But as the months pass, the survivors will grow longer, stronger, and more skilled, until the cycle begins again. In the next chapter, we will leave the quiet drama of birth and step into the world of human imagination, exploring how the anaconda's image has been shaped and distorted by Hollywood films, exaggerated explorers' tales, and local legends. For as long as humans have shared the Amazon with the anaconda, the great snake has lived not only in the swamps and rivers, but also in our stories, around fires, in whispered conversations, in the notebooks of explorers, and later on the silver screen. The anaconda has been shaped, stretched, and transformed into something larger than life. In some tellings, it is a guardian spirit. In others, an unstoppable killer. The truth, as it so often is, lies somewhere between the myth and the reality. Legends of the river. Among the indigenous peoples of the Amazon, the anaconda is more than an animal. It is a force of nature. In some traditions, it is the creator of rivers, a serpent god whose movements carve the winding waterways that feed the rainforest. In others, it is the guardian of sacred places, punishing those who take more from the forest than they need. These stories serve as warnings and as lessons. To disrespect the river is to invite its wrath. To live in balance with the water and its creatures is to remain under the serpent's protection. In this way, the anaconda becomes both feared and revered, a symbol of the Amazon's dual nature as a giver and taker of life. The tales of explorers. When European explorers first entered the Amazon in the 16th and 17th centuries, they encountered animals unlike any they had seen before. Their journals described monkeys that roared like lions, fish that could climb trees, and snakes so large they could swallow a horse, with no photographs to verify their claims. These tales were often taken at face value back in Europe, where readers had an appetite for the exotic and the terrifying. A snake measuring 15, 20, even 30 meters was not beyond imagination, and so the legend of the world's largest serpent took root in the Western mind. By the 19th and early 20th centuries, the anaconda had become a staple of adventure writing. In pulp magazines and explorers' memoirs, the great snake was almost always portrayed as a deadly hazard to human life, a silent, lurking danger beneath the water's surface, ready to strike at any moment. Hollywood's Monster. In 1997, Hollywood took the anaconda and turned it into a blockbuster movie villain. Anaconda, starring Jennifer Lopez and Ice Cube, depicted a massive, hyperaggressive snake capable of killing humans in seconds and swallowing them whole. The film's anaconda was not bound by biological reality. It moved faster than any real snake, displayed almost supernatural cunning, and grew to a size no scientist could verify. The success of the movie and its sequels cemented the anaconda's status in popular culture as a monster. For millions of viewers worldwide, their first exposure to the animal was not through documentaries or field guides, but through a work of fiction that amplified every fear humans have ever had about snakes. The problem with the monster image. While Hollywood's portrayal makes for thrilling cinema, it has also contributed to misunderstanding and fear. In reality, confirmed attacks on humans are extremely rare. Anacondas are not mindless predators seeking out people as prey. They are opportunists, hunting animals that fit their preferred size range, and avoiding dangerous encounters whenever possible. This gap between reality and fiction has consequences. Fear-driven perceptions can lead to unnecessary killing of anacondas by locals who see them as threats. In some areas, snakes are hunted for their skin or killed simply on sight, their actual role in the ecosystem overlooked. The real animal, the real green anaconda, is a marvel of adaptation, not a movie monster. It is slow-moving on land, vulnerable to its own predators, and highly dependent on its watery environment. It spends most of its time hidden, and its hunting strategy is one of patience and precision, not reckless aggression. When an anaconda does strike, it is because the opportunity presents itself, not because it is on a vendetta against humans. Even the largest documented individuals prefer prey like capybaras, caimans, and deer. Humans, with our unpredictable shape, behavior, and relatively low meat-to-bone ratio, are not ideal targets. Why myths persist? The persistence of myths about the anaconda comes from a combination of factors. its size. Even without exaggeration, a 9-meter snake is intimidating. Its hunting style, striking suddenly from hiding, creates the impression of aggression. Its rarity. Most people will never see a truly large anaconda in the wild, leaving their imaginations to fill in the blanks. Our deep-seated fear of snakes. Humans are hardwired to notice serpentine shapes, a survival instinct that turns easily into superstition. As a result, the anaconda remains both a scientific wonder and a cultural icon, one foot in the world of fact and the other in the realm of myth. Between fear and respect, perhaps the most balanced way to see the anaconda is the way Amazonian communities have for generations. As a creature to respect, it is neither a friend nor an enemy, neither a monster nor a harmless pet. It is a powerful part of a delicate ecosystem, playing its role as both predator and prey. In learning to see it this way, we can begin to separate the truth from the tall tales, and to appreciate the anaconda not for the fear it inspires, but for the awe it deserves. In the next chapter, we will look not to the present, but to the past, to a time when the anaconda's giant ancestor, Titanoboa, ruled the earth. This prehistoric serpent dwarfed even today's largest snakes, and its story reveals just how far the lineage of these giants has come. Long before the anaconda ruled the swamps of the Amazon, before the first human footstep ever pressed into the rainforest mud, another serpent reigned over the tropics. It was a snake so large, so powerful, that even the green anaconda, the largest living snake on Earth today, would have seemed small beside it. Its name is whispered in scientific circles with awe. Titanoboa, a discovery from the depths of time in 2009. In a coal mine in the region of northern Colombia, paleontologists uncovered a series of vertebrae so massive they dwarfed those of any modern snake. At first glance, the bones resembled those of a giant anaconda, but on a scale never before imagined. As the excavation continued, more bones appeared, ribs as thick as broom handles, vertebrae the size of a man's fist, and fragments of a skull built for swallowing prey whole. When the reconstruction was complete, the scientists realized what they had found: the fossilized remains of the largest snake in the history of the planet, a predator that had lived over 60 million years ago in the Paleocene epoch. The size of a legend estimates, based on the fossil evidence, put Titanoboa at 13 to 15 meters, 42 to 49 feet, in length and weighing over 1 metric ton. Its body would have been as thick as an oil drum, and its head large enough to envelop a crocodile in a single gulp. By comparison, the largest recorded green anaconda measures around 10 meters and weighs about half a ton, making Titanoboa roughly twice as heavy and significantly longer. The world Titanoboa inherited. Titanoboa emerged in a world still recovering from catastrophe. The dinosaurs had been wiped out by the mass extinction event 66 million years ago, likely caused by a massive asteroid impact. In their absence, new species were rising to fill the vacant niches. Giant turtles, enormous crocodilians, and early mammals were spreading through the tropical wetlands. The climate was significantly warmer than today. Average global temperatures were 3-5 degrees Celsius, 5-9 degrees Fahrenheit, higher, and the tropics were a lush, steamy paradise. This warmth was crucial for Titanoboa. As a cold-blooded reptile, its body temperature, and therefore its ability to function, depended on the ambient heat. A warmer climate meant the snake's metabolism could sustain a much larger body than would be possible in today's cooler conditions. The apex predator of its age in the shallow lakes and swampy rivers of Paleocene South America, Titanoboa was the undisputed apex predator. Its menu included giant fish, massive turtles, and prehistoric crocodiles, each captured and dispatched with the same method its modern relatives use: a lightning strike, followed by a suffocating constriction. Some scientists believe Titanoboa may have spent much of its time in the water, like the green anaconda, using buoyancy to support its massive frame. In water, its movements would have been almost ghostly, silent, smooth, and deliberate. On land, it would have been slower, its enormous bulk making rapid movement impossible. The science of gigantism. Why did Titanoboa grow so large? The answer lies in a combination of climate, food availability, and evolutionary opportunity. With no large terrestrial predators left after the extinction of the dinosaurs, and with an abundance of prey in the tropical wetlands, Titanoboa faced little competition. Its size allowed it to take down virtually any animal in its environment. and to avoid becoming prey itself. The warmer climate also played a critical role. In modern times, cold-blooded reptiles are limited in size by their ability to absorb and retain heat. Titanoboa's world, however, was like a giant greenhouse, allowing it to maintain the body temperature necessary to power its enormous muscles and organs. An untimely end, but nothing in nature lasts forever. Over millions of years, the Earth's climate began to cool, and the lush wetlands that had supported Titanoboa started to shrink. As temperatures dropped, the conditions that allowed such extreme reptilian gigantism disappeared. Smaller, more adaptable snakes emerged to fill the ecological space. Titanoboa vanished, leaving no direct descendants, only fossils buried deep in the earth, waiting to tell its story. Legacy in the modern jungle today. The green anaconda is the closest analog to Titanoboa. While far smaller, it shares many of the same adaptations: a semi-aquatic lifestyle, constriction, hunting, and an impressive appetite for large prey. When scientists and storytellers compare anacondas to their prehistoric cousin, it is both a compliment and a reminder that the giants of the past make even our largest modern predators seem small. In a way, the legend of Titanoboa fuels the myths about the anaconda. If such a colossal serpent once truly existed, could there still be undiscovered giants in the Amazon's unexplored swamps? Science says it is unlikely, but the human imagination, ever hungry for mystery, is not so easily convinced. In the next chapter, we will return to the present-day Amazon and look at the anaconda not as the hunter, but as the hunted, facing two of its most formidable natural enemies, the jaguar and the black caiman. In the imagination of most people, the green anaconda sits unchallenged at the top of the Amazon food chain, a living, muscle-bound titan with no natural enemies. But in nature, there is rarely such a thing as complete invincibility. Even the greatest predator can become prey under the right circumstances, and for the green anaconda, two adversaries are capable of turning the hunter into the hunted: the jaguar and the black caiman. The jaguar, the silent assassin of the rainforest, the jaguar Panthera anca, is South America's largest big cat, and it commands as much respect in the jungle as the anaconda does in the water. Stocky and powerfully built, weighing between 80 and 120 kilograms, 176 to 265 pounds, it is a predator perfectly adapted for ambush, just like the anaconda. Unlike other big cats that rely on suffocating their prey with a throat bite, the jaguar is unique among felines in its method. It kills with a single, devastating bite to the skull or spine, driving its long canines directly into the brain or spinal cord. Its jaw strength is unmatched among cats, with a bite force of nearly 1,000 psi, strong enough to pierce turtle shells and crush bones instantly. In the water, jaguars are exceptional swimmers, moving silently across flooded forests and along riverbanks. This aquatic skill puts them in direct contact with the anaconda's realm, setting the stage for rare but spectacular clashes. Jaguar versus anaconda. A deadly balance encounters between jaguars and green anacondas are rare, but when they happen, they are battles between apex predators. The jaguar has the advantage of speed, agility, and precision strikes. The anaconda brings raw strength, size, and crushing power. If a jaguar spots an anaconda basking on the riverbank or moving sluggishly in shallow water, it may launch an attack. The key for the jaguar is to immobilize the snake before it can coil. A clean bite to the back of the head or neck can kill an anaconda within seconds. In these moments, the jaguar's compact muscular build allows it to maintain control even against a thrashing 100-kilogram snake. But the fight can go the other way. If the anaconda senses the jaguar too late and the cat miscalculates its strike, the snake can wrap its coils around the jaguar's torso and begin to constrict. Even a jaguar's powerful claws and teeth may not be enough if the coils tighten quickly. In such a battle, the outcome often comes down to who gets the first decisive move. The black caiman, the river's other monster. If the jaguar is the king of the forest floor, the black caiman, Melanosuchus niger, is the undisputed ruler of the Amazon's deeper waters, growing up to 5 to 6 meters, 16 to 20 feet, in length, and weighing over a ton. The black caiman is one of the largest crocodilians in the world, a prehistoric throwback built for power and patience. Its dark, almost black scales allow it to disappear into the shadowed waters, and its ambush strikes are explosive. With a bite force capable of exceeding 3,000 psi, the black caiman can seize and drown prey in seconds. Its primary diet includes large fish, capybaras, deer, and yes, even green anacondas. Caiman versus anaconda. Titans collide. When these two titans meet, the outcome is unpredictable. Anacondas have been documented preying on smaller caimans, ambushing them at the water's edge and dragging them into a death coil. But the black caiman is not a small or easy target. In a direct confrontation, size and armor give it a dangerous edge. If a black caiman can clamp its jaws on an anaconda's midsection, it can inflict massive injury in an instant, often breaking the snake's spine. The caiman's heavily armored hide also protects it from the anaconda's crushing coils for a time, making the snake's usual method of suffocation less effective. Most encounters end quickly. The losing animal either escapes wounded or becomes the victor's meal. In the rare prolonged struggle, the water churns with thrashing tails, splashes, and bursts of muscle, a prehistoric scene played out in the modern Amazon. Mutual avoidance despite their ability to kill one another. Both the anaconda and its top predators tend to avoid unnecessary fights. A large, healthy adult anaconda is a risky meal for both jaguars and black caimans, just as a fully grown jaguar or caiman is a dangerous opponent for the snake. Predators in the wild are not reckless. Injury can mean death, even for the strongest. For this reason, these apex animals often size each other up from a distance and choose easier targets. The apex predator illusion. The existence of predators capable of killing the green anaconda doesn't diminish its power. Instead, it places it within the balanced web of the Amazon's ecosystem. The jaguar, the black caiman, and the anaconda form a triad of top-tier predators, each capable of preying on the other under the right circumstances. This delicate balance ensures that no single predator dominates unchecked, maintaining the complex biodiversity of the rainforest. It's a reminder that even giants live under the laws of nature. In the next chapter, our final one, we will step back and look at the green anaconda's place in the Amazon as a whole, its role in the ecosystem, its relationship with humans, and why it remains one of the most enduring symbols of the wild heart of South America. The Amazon is not just a river, it is a living, breathing organism, a vast, interconnected network of water, forest, and sky. Every creature, from the tiniest insect to the largest predator, plays a role in keeping its rhythms in balance. At the very top of this intricate web, the green anaconda reigns. It is not a ruler in the human sense, but a guardian by presence, its existence woven into the heartbeat of the rainforest. A keystone predator in ecology. A keystone species is one whose impact on its environment is disproportionately large compared to its numbers. The green anaconda fits this description perfectly. By preying on animals like capybaras, caimans, and large birds, it regulates populations that might otherwise grow unchecked. This control prevents overgrazing of riverbank vegetation, maintains the health of aquatic systems, and influences the distribution of other predators. Without the anaconda's quiet work, the delicate balance of the Amazon could tip in unpredictable ways, leading to chain reactions that affect countless species, including humans. A predator with vulnerabilities. Despite its fearsome reputation, the green anaconda is far from invincible. Human activity poses its most serious threat. Habitat destruction from logging, mining, and agriculture reduces the wetlands and floodplains it needs to thrive. Pollution from mercury used in gold mining, pesticides from crops, and untreated waste also poison its habitat. In some regions, anacondas are hunted for their skin, used in leather products, or killed simply out of fear. Even though attacks on humans are exceedingly rare, centuries of myth and exaggeration have painted the snake as a menace, leading to persecution. The human-anaconda relationship for indigenous Amazonian peoples. The relationship with the anaconda is often one of respect and coexistence. Stories passed down through generations, not only as warnings but also as reminders of the snake's power and importance. In their eyes, the anaconda is a spirit of the river, to be respected, not destroyed. Modern ecotourism has begun to shift perceptions in some areas. Wildlife guides and photographers bring visitors into the anaconda's world, revealing its true behavior and the quiet beauty of its existence. For those who see a wild anaconda up close, its scales shimmering like wet emerald under the sun, its eyes unblinking and ancient, Fear often gives way to awe. Adaptations that endure. Over millions of years, the anaconda has evolved into a perfect predator for its environment. Camouflage, olive-green scales patterned with dark blotches, render it invisible beneath the water's surface. Aquatic mastery, its body is supported by buoyancy, allowing it to move with stealth and grace. Constrictor's power, muscles that can crush the breath from prey in minutes. Ambush patience, the ability to remain motionless for hours until the perfect strike. These traits have allowed it to survive ice ages, climate shifts, and the arrival of humans. Yet its continued survival now depends on how humans choose to treat the Amazon. The symbol of the wild, few animals embody the essence of the Amazon as fully as the green anaconda. It is both feared and revered, both a predator and a part of the larger living system it inhabits. Its presence reminds us that the rainforest is still wild, still untamed, and still capable of producing wonders that defy the limits of imagination. Standing at the river's edge, it's easy to understand why the anaconda holds such a place in human legend. Somewhere beneath the surface, a shadow may be gliding silently, unseen but not absent. The jungle seems to lean in, the water stirs, and you remember that you are in the territory of a creature that has ruled these waters for longer than humans have walked the earth. A future unwritten. The fate of the green anaconda is tied directly to the fate of the Amazon. Protecting its habitat means protecting one of the richest, most diverse ecosystems on the planet. If the anaconda disappears, it will not just be the loss of a single species, it will be the silencing of an ancient voice in the chorus of the rainforest. Perhaps that is the anaconda's greatest lesson for us, that power is not only about dominance, but about connection, to water, to forest, to prey, to predator, and to the rhythms of life itself. Epilogue. From its whispered name in ancient legends, to its fossil echoes in the form of Titanoboa, from the silver screen to the flooded banks of the Amazon, the anaconda has lived many lives in our minds and in reality. It is the silent executioner, the patient hunter, the guardian of the river, and as long as the Amazon flows, its coils will remain a living part of the story, a reminder that the wild is still here, watching, waiting, and enduring.